back to the Richard Sherman podcast. You know what time it is? Mitchell, it's the Super Bowl. Well, I guess the week before the Super Bowl, and it's still a lot of action going on. We know the teams. We know what they got going on. No billboard, no bulletin board material yet, but there's some coaching hires and some fires and some people getting picked up that you wasn't expected. Schwartz is pissed. Mitchell, what you thinking?
Richard, there's a lot of action. Even though this is technically a bye week, the week before Super Bowl week, there's still a lot of action going on in the NFL. One of the big things right around Super Bowl time is the Hall of Fame. And Richard, we got caught with an absolute right hook of news this week. How in the world is a guy like Bill Belichick not a first ballot Hall of Famer? I'll start there.
Mitchell, you want to know how you lose credibility in an established organization, team, or anything? You watch a slam dunk candidate, a no-brainer answer, and it go unanswered. If you don't want to listen to me, just listen to what Tom Brady said. He said he doesn't understand. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then really there's no coach that should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And that's true. Now, I have a lot of respect for the Hall of Fame and the hard job that all the voters have and all of that, but this wasn't a hard job. This wasn't a hard job at all. This is, hey, whether you think he's the greatest coach all the time or not, whatever, you can argue that with somebody else. One of the greatest coaches to ever coach the game. A lot of Super Bowls. I think he got 8 between coordinating and head coaching between the Giants and the New England Patriots. Earned first ballot Hall of Fame. Earned, not speculative, not, hey, I think he should, 100% sure. First ballot Hall of Famer. Now, when you don't do it and then there's conjecture and conversation about what Bill Polian said or may have not said, because there's, we don't know what's happening behind closed doors. There's rumors both ways. He said something, and then they're saying he didn't say anything, and he voted for Bill Belichick. So I don't know. I think this is what happens when you don't have a transparent process, and when you don't have a transparent process, there's no accountability. If you had accountability in this process, I think this is a slam dunk and nobody's talking about it. But when you can hide behind a vote, it makes it really tough. It makes it really tough because you won't ever be able to get to the bottom of who voted for him and who didn't vote for him if it's true. Now, we may get to next week and Bill Belichick be a Hall of Famer. And all this was some made-up rumor and somebody got misinformation and all this. And I'm hoping that's what the case is. Because if that's not, I don't know how you can trust this process going forward if somebody with his resume as a coach and a coordinator isn't an NFL Hall of Famer on the first ballot that he's on. It's hard to debate that anybody is. Now, because the equivalent is putting Tom Brady on the ballot and not saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's the level of insanity this is. And if you don't believe me, I mean, that's what it is. Like if you put Tom Brady on the ballot and you said, hey, Tom Brady didn't get the 40 votes. What are we voting for? I understand people are saying, oh man, the Deflategate, the this, the that. I don't know if that, it's the Barry Bonds baseball thing for me. Hall of Famer. Like, you could say, you know how many people probably, took enhancements in these sports? Those enhancements don't help you hit that little ball. I guarantee you. There's no enhancement that can increase your speed, your hand-eye coordination enough, because if it did, the batting percentages would be crazy out of this world. But the guy was an incredible ball player. This is an incredible coach, and I don't think the things and the speculation should ever diminish that. And it almost seems like personal agendas are getting in the way of the facts and objective opinions about the greatest sport in the greatest sport in America. And I just don't like that, Mitchell. I don't like it. I don't like human emotion getting between fact. Like, Bill Belichick's a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's a fact. If that's not a fact, the process has to be changed because it's clearly broken. It's clearly broken if that's not a fact.
I'll take it a step further, Richard. I think it's a complete and utter joke. I think it discredits the Hall of Fame. This guy, Bill Belichick, he is the Michael Jordan of coaches. I mean, whether you think he's the greatest of all time or not, he's certainly in that discussion. And if any person, coach, player, executive, etc., is in that discussion as one of the greatest of all time, they deserve to be first ballot. And that's what Bill Belichick is. You got to wonder, of his riff with the media, of how he handled his press conferences with the media had anything to do with this. You got to wonder if these voters kept him off the first ballot out of spite. Obviously he's coaching at UNC now. He didn't retire and sail off into the sunset. He chose to go keep coaching and chase a new challenge. Richard, this is a complete and utter joke.
But even if that's the case, even if you say, hey, he was abrasive, he was this, that would be okay if there was like a fringe. If he's a fringe Hall of Famer, if he's a fringe Hall of Fame coach, you say he doesn't deserve the first ballot, it's a fringe. This man got 8 Super Bowls to his name. That's not a fringe. That's not a debatable point. This is not a debatable topic. It's personal opinion or not. Like is the sun hot? Yes, it's hot. That's not a debatable thing. It's one of those things. Is the sky up or down? Like it should not be up for debate. It should not be up for somebody's emotions to change an outcome. If the media hated Bill Belichick, does not change the fact he's a Hall of Fame coach. Now, did they do that to T.O.? 100%. T.O. was probably supposed to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. His numbers say that. His rankings on a number of lists say first ballot Hall of Famer. They punished him, said, nope, we're not going to do it. Cool, I guess. You know what I mean? You got to be good to the media. You got to be nice to people. You got to have those conversations. But this guy just doesn't feel like this is right. If this doesn't change something in a big way, and I know the Hall of Fame came out and made a statement, but to this point, Hall of Fame, if this guy doesn't go on the first ballot, I mean, the integrity's in question. And you never want to say that about something that's lasted as long as the Hall of Fame, but is it emotions now? Like if you hurt my feelings, I'm not going to vote for you. If you hurt my feelings personally, those people can't, that can't be the reason he's not in. Like, if there's a legitimate topic that's beyond debate, indisputable fact that you say, hey, this happened, which means he does not deserve to be up in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot because of these things. And that's a strong argument that, hey, and I know the Deflategate and the Spygate and all that even if you said, hey, we'll take away those 2 Super Bowls,
he's still first ballot.
It's still first ballot. Like, I just don't, that's where it's like, I hear you, get cool, make those arguments. It's still, if you took those away, it does not change his resume to the point he's not a first ballot Hall of Fame coach. So it's frustrating. Obviously, Tom hears it. The Hall of Fame reached out. They didn't really say much, but that's all I got to say about it, man. That's ridiculous. Hopefully they do the right thing and make this right. Hopefully this is all just conjecture and rumors, and when the class comes out, Bill Belichick's on.
That would be a pretty wild PR move on their part. But you know what, Richard? Bottom line, like you said, I would love to know who voted no, and I would need an explanation as to why, because this one is just making no sense whatsoever. Richard, we got some news on the coaching circuit. Let's start in Cleveland. Todd Monken, the old OC at Baltimore, takes the job, and I know, he has certainly been a name, a candidate for a lot of different jobs. He ultimately ends up in Cleveland. But the bigger story here is a guy like Jim Schwartz, who is, truly wants to be there. Wears his emotion on his sleeve week in and week out. Led one of the top defenses in this league. The only bright spot of the Cleveland Browns team for the last few years. Does not get the job. Richard, let's start with Jim Schwartz not receiving the job, and then we can talk a little bit more about Todd Monken. Your initial thoughts when you heard Jim Schwartz was not the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns?
Insane. With the amount of people that took their name out of the hat for this job, including Udinski, who just pulled his name out, it seemed like Schwartz is to lose. The way his players speak about him, like those are things you can't measure. The respect and regard that your best players have for him. And I'm talking about Myles Garrett, I'm talking about Denzel Ward, I'm talking about the defensive players that are foundational pieces to this organization. I think they took him for granted, and I think he feels that way.